So welcome back, everybody. Thank you for being here today. This is the final day of the bootcamp. I'm quite excited. Yeah, because at the end of the bootcamp, we shall be awarding our most active participants of the bootcamp. And then everyone who attended the 5 days of the bootcamp will be able to receive a certificate. So yesterday we Daniel demoed using Travis and a bit of he went back through what had been happening the previous days. So he basically had a recap. Today he'll be doing acceptance testing and browser automated testing with Selenium. Daniel, I think I'm going to hand over to you right now. You're welcome, Daniel. Please take the stage.
Thank you so much, Paul, for the introduction. Once again, my name is Daniel, and I've been taking you through the software testing from Monday and up until today, where we're going to wrap it up. Please keep participating because, like Paul and Bami have mentioned, we have 2 of our most active participants who will be sponsored to any course actually on, is it Udemy, Paul?
Yes, it is.
Yes, on Udemy. So please keep your questions coming, keep participating, and then we shall be able to identify who has been active. Of course, we have taken record from Monday up until now. Today is going to be a very brief session. We're going to be looking at Selenium. So just as a recap, on Monday, we looked at basically the theory of testing, what testing is, the different types of testing, the levels of testing. We also looked at white box testing, black box, and then gray box testing. We would look at the functional and non-functional types of testing. So on Tuesday, we looked at them practically. So we did a bit of unit testing and we did some bit of integration testing. We were able to push the code to GitHub. And then we did some bit of Travis still on Tuesday. However, I know most of you do not remember because it came in towards the end and there was a lot of Django and Python on day 2. So day 3, we did a recap and then we went through Postman. And then yesterday we looked at Travis basically. And we also did a recap of how to clone the project from GitHub to run it locally and then also to test it on Travis cover roles, and then maybe I'll also do some bit of Circle CI. So today, if there are any questions, maybe before I get started, I'd like to answer those. Then we can dive into Selenium.
If you have a question, now is the time. Please raise your hand, and you'll be able to speak, or post it in the chat.
Okay, I take it that we do not have any questions, which I'll assume that we're all on the right track. So I'll just talk a bit about Selenium, because we're going to be very brief about it. It's basically an open source tool that is used for test automation, and it's licensed under Apache license 2.0. So it's a suite of tools that helps in automating only web applications. So basically what Selenium does is to try to simulate an actual user who you do not have at the moment. So that's why Paul was able to tell you that today we're looking at acceptance testing. We talked about acceptance testing briefly on Monday when we looked at theory of testing. So today I just want to be brief about it. We're going to build onto what we have worked on and then we're going to be able to run a demo. So once again, Selenium is a tool for test automation only and only for websites or web applications. So it's an open source under the license of 2.0. So yeah, and it's really a portable automated software testing tool. Remember, it's for web applications only. And then if you remember the pip, which is our package manager for this session, I will be able to use pip to install the basics, Selenium basically. And then an alternative tool that you can use is QTP. But for now, Selenium is the most common, although it's important to know about it. It's open source. It can be extended for various technologies that expose the DOM. It has capabilities to execute scripts across different browsers, given that it's based on web applications. And then you can execute scripts on various operating systems. It also supports mobile devices, and it executes the tests within the browser. So you do not need to worry about any scripts, whether you Python dev or not, or we're simply going to see how to use Selenium, and then you'll be able to implement it in whatever languages you're using. So that some of the shortcomings of Selenium are that it only supports web applications, and then there's no feature such as an object repo for Selenium, and then there's no IDE. So the script development is not as fast as that of QTP. Then, you cannot access controls within the browser. So these are some of the limitations of Selenium. So today we're going to be looking at a different project, still a build on what we had. So it's basically a blog. I believe we all know what a blog is. So we'll see that we're able to post some articles. We're able to log in as well to our application. So now I'm logging in as an admin. Then you'll see that you're also able to post articles, and after posting them, we're able to comment on them. So it's a basic blog, really. We're going to try to run a test on it. Why I advanced this a bit is because the tests that we did are not easily testable via using Selenium. So we're testing for URLs, and we're also testing for the application that was adding basically adding yesterday. So this is just another addition to our code. It's a basic blog. I'll be able to push this to GitHub, so you're able to clone or fork it from my account. I'll share the link, but the link remains the same really for the project. So we'll just be updating it. Yeah, so what you're looking at right now is basically the application's interface, how it looks like in general. And then we have one post created by the admin, and we're able to like it. Then you can also still leave a comment. Then this comment will be captured. And if you check Django admin, then you'll find that we have all of these present in Django admin. You're also able to, so as you can see in Django admin, we can see the posts that we just created. And then we can see also the comments available. So now we have to approve it to make the post visible. So I'll just make it visible since I'm the admin. And then when you go to the browser, you'll see that now we have two tests posts. So which you can comment on and all that. So basically what Selenium does is it will help to check for all of these. So it will try to log in. It will try to create a post, try to comment, basically trying to use it the same way a user would use it. But how does this work? How is it able to do this? So we are able to do this in our code. Definitely we have to write some code for Selenium to be able to function the way it should. So firstly, I know the first question is how do we then get Selenium into our, to work with our application? So I'm going to share a command with you briefly. As you can see on the screen, yeah, so I'll just basically pip3 install Selenium. I'll drop that in the chat, and then you give it some time to install. Okay, I hope you've all received the command in the chat. Simply pip3 install Selenium, and then yes, as you can see, everything has been able to install. So that's how you get Selenium to be working on your application. So now I'll go into the code bit of things. How do we configure Selenium to work appropriately? So before I dive into the code, the tests, I want to start by explaining the blog application, basically on a very high level. So I'm not going to go deeper into the syntax. I'll just basically explain what we're doing, and then because you're able to relate this into the different languages you're using out there. And I hope that the Python people already understand what we're doing here. So this is a code for the homepage. You're able to see some GET requests around there. So it's basically trying to get the posts that we have created. So if you created another post, it's also going to, maybe we should create a third post and call it the final session of software testing. So we'll call it final session. Yeah. And then remember, after saving it, we give it a category, we submit for approval. It won't be here because the admin has to approve it. So you go to the admin page, and then you can see the Django admin there. Go to posts, and then you can see final session is right there. When you click on it, we're able to see the particulars and make it visible. Then just save it as an admin. Once you save that, I hope you can see that you can, as an admin, you're able to see the number of comments per post. So you can now see final session has come up here. So this is the page that we're looking at, the main page in the that we're talking about in the code. So I'll just go back to the IDE. So yes, what you see here, the main. So the next function we're looking at is basically for the posts, the ones that we're looking at. So you can see the name, the comments, and also the parameters being taken there are the GET requests, basically. And all that you see here, basically the date it was posted, the name, who posted it, any detail you can see about the post is being carried out by that particular function. So this other function is for the liked posts that have been liked. I'll just show those to you again on the browser. So when you like a post, you're able to see that it has one like now. So that particular piece of code or block of code is for those liked posts. Move down. So the rest of the functions are to create a post, edit the posts, yeah, and so on, and the different other functions that we have. So in a nutshell, that is how those are the views we have, and then the URLs to these different views. So you can see the logout, login, the like posts. So basically, these are the different URLs. So when you go back to our browser, you can see an example that this one has, let's say if we go home or to the admin page, you're able to see that these are the different URLs. So you can see this is admin page. Then we have different other, if you come to a no access page, so you're able to see that. And those are the different URLs that we have. So if we go back to maybe, and then you can also see login here, there's a logout page as well. So now that we have seen, at least we've understood the blog, we're now going to go into the Selenium tests. Of course, the Selenium tests will fall under in the integration tests. So remember how we name our test files. The name has to start with test underscore, such that PyTest can be able to pick this. Yes, so in here is our test for the blog. Test users is the one we have looked at from Monday and up until today. So today we're going to just talk about the blog and how it is. So the function that you see highlighted on my screen initiates Selenium. So when you look at the next function, basically tear down is going to basically focus purposely for quitting. Yeah. So yeah, those are basically the functions that main functions that we're going to look at. Then we also have a function here to test whether whether there's a home page. So remember, we have the link to the home page if you can look at it. And if you remember running this from the terminal, when you're running server, that's the link you're going to get when you run the server. So we're testing to see, is there a home page? So that is our test, and we can see that it passed. So it will give us yeah, to basically check whether we have a home page. Then we'll also test to see if the drop-down button works. Remember the drop-down where we're trying to create articles and all that. Yes, basically it's going to check if this drop-down works. Yeah, and the different other tests down there for the different things we have looked at for posts, testing the post links, testing the login buttons, testing whether the post is saved or not, whether it saves when the author is empty or when the author is full. So yeah, these are basically the different tests available. So now what we're going to do is to run these tests, and then we'll see how it works on the browser. So I'm going to share the command as well, worry not. You'll be able to run this. And then at the end of the day, I'll also be able to commit this to the new changes to GitHub, such that you're able to have the full project that we have used for the entire bootcamp, and you can really build on it and perform your different tests. So in the chat, I've shared the link to run this. So hopefully that is okay with you. I hope everyone has received it, and I've not shared it with only the panelists. So what is happening here in front of us is Selenium is running the test cases, and then it will open it up in the browser in just a bit. So let's give it some time to run. Meanwhile, feel free to, okay, it has already opened it up. So I think you can see that the homepage was open. The first test has passed. We have a homepage, right? Okay, now it's trying to log in. We can see that, yeah, it has opened up the login page. So this is quite different from the unit tests because for it, it's able to open up the browser there and then. Yes, so that's being controlled as you've seen. So as you can see, it's showing you up here that the test is being run by automation. So we'll see from the next. So this is how it's working. So remember, we're testing initially. Is there a browser? Is there a browser? So yes, Chrome is being run. As you can see, controlled by automated test software. So that is Selenium doing the checks. So now it has checked for the blog posts. It will run to the next test as we saw in the command line. Just give it time for that. So it automatically opens up the browser once it's time for the test to run. As you can see, it's being run by automated software and not by me. So some of these tests happen very quickly, so it's hard to notice them. But I hope we've been able to follow through with Selenium. So basically, that is how it runs. So we've checked for most of these, and we can see that they have passed. So it has tested for the button, it has tested the admin link, it has tested the login buttons, it has tested the new posts that it has 0 links after being saved. It has tested that the posts, the link works for the posts. It has also tested whether the author is empty or not. So it has run all of these tests, and basically that is how Selenium works in a nutshell. Yes, so that brings us to the end of software testing bootcamp, at least for the technical part. Next up, I'll open it up for the questions such that we're able to wrap it up, and then we can always follow up after the bootcamp. Thank you so much for attending and for listening. I'll be waiting for your questions now. Over to you, Paul.
All right. I think that's, are there any questions? Oh, yes, Joseph. Joseph, I think your mic is still not, yeah, it's still not on. I think, yeah, it's all right. It's all right. Yeah, Daniel, there's a question. Abuya asks, what platform do you use in software deployment?
Very good question, Abuya. So, though this is not related to software testing, however, you can containerize your software and use Docker for this, basically. I hope that answers your question, Abuya. Suleiman is asking for the WhatsApp group link.
Yes,
let me
share it. Yes, let me share it. I'm going to share also a few links, a few other links too. However, I think, Bami, are you there? I think this is a point where we shall move to awarding. Oh, there's still some questions. Let's get done with the questions, then we shall move to that. Elijah says, if we are to use Selenium to test a live website, how will the query look like from the terminal?
What was the question again?
If we are to use Selenium to test a live website, how will the query look like from the terminal?
So Selenium has two versions, Elijah, the web version and also the library version. So what we have done here is to use the library version of it. So for your question, it would be the web version.
Yes, so there's another question. What percentage of test coverage should one require when writing automation testing?
Usually it's a minimum of 60%, but to be on a safe side, you want to have your tests run up to 75%. Good question, Martin. I think I would recommend personally a minimum of 75% at the very least.
All right, I think we have, please, for those of us who aren't into software development yet, but intend on going through the videos after the bootcamp to learn and practice, is there any form of mentorship from your team? I think I can take this on. I think in your case, you could explore the academy. I'm going to share a link for the academy. You can go into the academy and look out for a course that suits you, and you can, it could be your starting point. Yeah, but then you could also follow us on social media and look out for that when you have boot camps, hackathons, or webinars. So that could help you out. I'm going to share the links in a few. Then Obi asks, what is the name of the terminal? I think this is in relation to a previous question.
So the terminal is actually the name of the terminal. So it's a Unix terminal that comes default to any PC. So it's just like the command prompt for Windows. This is a macOS terminal. Then also Linux has the same terminal, really.
All right. Evans asks, when unit testing your code, do you test everything, or how do you decide what to, I guess, what to test and what not to test?
So this depends really on the magnitude of work you're doing. So if it's a lot of units that you have, then you want to test mainly the crucial parts, right? But if you're working on a small project, then why not test everything? So it really varies on how much work you have, because you don't want to, again, lose so much time in testing. However, yeah, so you could only test the crucial parts if you're time bad.
Yeah, all right. Then Orem asks, is there a way you can optimize your code as a developer to make the automated tests quite visible? They happened extremely fast, as you stated.
Yeah, definitely you can pause a delay. So on the WebDriver, just basically you're trying to cause a delay, and then you can pass through a parameter, which then specifies how much time you want to have this run. So basically, how much delay do you want for this this test to run by Selenium? So you just simply it's just one line of code. When you add it to your script, it's able to cause the delay for you.
All right. Abuya says, have been doing testing. Thank you for the information. Then Martin says, he asks, is there a difference between Selenium base, in brackets, the PyTest framework versus Selenium WebDriver versus using PyTest Django framework?
Yeah, so PyTest will run all the tests, while Selenium is web-based, so it will run the web tests.
All right. Fahad says, does testing for very bulky software systems be cumbersome in those testing steps that we have done throughout the bootcamp?
Yes, definitely it becomes bulky, right? So that is why usually it's a specified team that is able to do this kind of testing. I think we saw a lot of QA people in the chat. But however, also as a developer, you want to make sure that the work you have done functions properly in production. You don't want to be basically the weak link of the team. So it's always good to test what you have worked on and to make sure everything runs just fine before you can actually submit it, on the different platforms you're using for continuous integration.
All right, thank you. Ronnie asks, Selenium only works on websites. True. What is its equivalent in Android apps?
So Android, I think, will come with its own framework for testing. So this is strictly for web-based applications.
All right, I think Martin, that is a reply from a previous comment. Then Akerele says, aside this Python Django framework, can I use .NET unit testing for my software testing and still achieve the same result as yours? If yes, can you give me a clue on how to go about it?
So I think your answer, Adedayo, is yes. A clue about it's basically the same steps. However, the syntax and everything else will change slightly, but the concept remains the same. So I cannot expound on it so much because of time, and we also have quite a number of questions. But in any case, maybe, yeah, but it's the same thing really what we have looked at here. So you simply have to translate this to .NET. So you could start by translating this same exact project to .NET, and then you try to run it the same way we have run it from Monday up until now. I'm sure you will not get any issues if you follow the steps right. What could change may be the commands, maybe because some of our commands contain Python, but now you'll be running things in .NET.
All right, thank you. Nabil asks, is the syntax for unit tests in the Django framework the same for Flask?
Yes, yes, because all of them are using PyTest framework, which is used for testing all Python frameworks and all Python code. So yes, it is the same, Nabila.
Yeah, so that was our final question. Thank you so much, Daniel. Thank you for taking us through these 5 days. I'm sure everyone has learned a lot. Even me who is not technical, I have learned something. But yes, thank you so much. I think this is the point where we shall be awarding our most active participants. I will hand over to Bami, our developer community manager. She'll be doing us the honors. Bami?
It's nice to be here, and I hope you all have learned something without my friend, so I'm looking weird. So thanks everyone. Thanks, Daniel. You've done a very, very, very great job for the past 5 days. Thanks, Pearl, for coordinating the whole thing. Thank you very much. Thanks everyone for attending, for sticking through to this last day. Thank you very much. So we have a couple of persons, but then we have, I know everyone has been super active. Everyone has been contributing now and then, asking questions and contributing to the bootcamp. But then we just have 2 Udemy courses going out. Probably next bootcamp will be increasing it, but for this particular bootcamp, we have 2 Udemy courses. And of course, everyone will be getting a certificate of participation. So, drum rolling. So the first person that will be awarding a Udemy course is Joseph Ayoma, Kenya.
Ooh, I think his microphone is still acting up.
I just jumped forever in the
I can speak on his behalf.
yeah. I'm not sure. I think the second person is Elijah Aremu, right? Am I correct? Yeah, Elijah Aremu. You both have been super active for the past 5 days, and you have contributed to the bootcamp. And so both of you will be reaching out to me, and you'll be giving us the specific course you want on Udemy. So we don't want to limit it to say software testing. I know you might need a course on software testing, but you might also need a course on probably Python to improve more on Python itself. So you can just reach out to me on your particular course, and they're going to get it across to you. So yes, we want you all to follow us on our social media. We are active on Twitter, on LinkedIn, and yes, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, and on Instagram. So kindly follow us on our social media handles, and so you'll be informed when we are having the next bootcamp. And you might also be the lucky winner of the Udemy course or any course. So yes, thank you everyone for joining. Congratulations to Elijah and Joseph. Thank you all. Yeah, I'm sure you both. I'm on the WhatsApp group. So if just in case you're not there, kindly join the WhatsApp group so you can reach out to me personally, and I can get your Udemy courses across to you. So I think that's all for that's pretty much it. Once again, thank you all for joining this bootcamp, and thank you all for sticking through the 5 days till this last day. So see you next time.
All right.
Ciao.
Yeah. Keep on the watch for the YouTube videos, for the recordings. Yeah, but otherwise, have a lovely evening. Have a lovely weekend. Thank you all.